Taste and See. My name is Stephanie Young, and today we're going to be working on biscuits. I don't know about you, but it's been a little cold here in Palatine, and it got me to thinking about just some comfort foods and thinking about my father-in-law and how much he loved to bake, and had a little competition with his brother on who made the best biscuits. They were both from down south, and so they had quite a competition going. And I have to say, I never got to taste Uncle Kilmer's biscuits, but I heard they were delicious, and I'm sure they were. So today I just want to show you just a basic biscuit recipe and hope you enjoy it with your family. I have measured out here 2 cups of flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, a little over 3/4 of a cup of milk, and 5 tablespoons of butter. A little trick on the butter, I've frozen it and I'm going to grate it into the flour. I'm using salted butter, so I'm not adding any extra salt to the recipe. If you used unsalted butter, you would add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt to your recipe. So I'm grating the butter in there because it gets it to a nice sized chunk, and when I'm done here, I'm going to toss the flour so it coats the little chunks of butter, and that's what creates the tender, flaky biscuit that we all love. I'm just going to toss that around, keeping the chunks close to the size as I can, and then I'm going to take my milk and stir. Try not to mash the batter because you'll mash those chunks of butter and not get the flakes you want. So it's starting to pull together here with the spatula. So now I'm get my hands in there and quickly form it into a ball, trying to keep that butter chilled. A little flour on your surface so it doesn't stick. And I'm just going to pat it out with my hands. There's 2 ways that you can cut your biscuit. One is just the natural way, make it into a rectangle. Kind of square up your edges there. And you want your dough to be about 1 inch thick. So I made it as square as possible. So with a square, you can just take your knife and cut across and across, and you've used all of your dough. If you don't like that look and you want your traditional round biscuit, just dip your cutter into the flour. Cut them as closely as possible. The more you work the dough, the tougher and drier it is. So I want to handle it as little as possible. Refrigerate them for about 15 minutes. Yep, that's all of them. Now, depending on if you want a crunchy biscuit, you're going to spread them apart on the pan. If you want them to have soft sides, you're going to put them together like this. I happen to like a little crunch on mine, so I'm going to spread them apart. While we're waiting for those to bake, I'm going to share a little recipe with you for some honey butter free biscuits. So I have 1/4 cup of butter softened. You can leave it out at room temperature or soften it in your microwave. Mine takes about 12 seconds to do. Put about 2 teaspoons of honey in there. This is a little honey I picked up on vacation in Virginia last year. Can't wait to try it. And then about half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're just gonna mush that together. You can make this ahead of time. Keep it in your freezer until the day you're gonna serve it. You can keep it in your freezer for up to 3 months if you wrap it really good in some saran wrap and then maybe in a little Ziploc bag. Or it'll keep in the refrigerator for, gosh, probably about a month. So I've got it all mixed up in here. And I'm gonna take my wrapper back. See how this works out. And form it into a little log. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's going to taste really good. So I've got that back into a log, and then I'm just going to roll it up, shape it a little bit, and then I'm going to put this in the freezer while we're waiting for the biscuits to cook, and then we'll slice them and try it with our biscuits. So biscuits are done right at 15 minutes. Putting them in the refrigerator for that 15 minutes before we baked them gave them a chance to hold their shape together because the butter got cold inside and it had a chance for the dough to rest. And so here you can see the nice little flakes on the side. They're super hot. We're gonna let it cool for a minute and then we're gonna try one. In the meantime, I took the honey butter out of the freezer and I put it in this cute little dish with a knife. And I took it out before it was totally frozen so we could spread it. And I'm gonna take a biscuit here. And it's had a few minutes to cool, but we're just gonna pull it apart. And you can see all the flakes. Put a little bit of honey butter on it. So you melt right in. And enjoy a little biscuit. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had some time to make some biscuits and enjoy them.